There are about a quarter of the 4 million people in Los Angeles are living below the poverty line. The poverty line is under $12,000 a year per person. The median rent in Los Angeles is $14,000 per year. So LA really doesn't need to destroy any more rent-stabilized housing in this city.
New at 5, an artist is taking a stand against new luxury housing developments in Southern California with balloons. Ann Hars brought dozens of balloons to a planned luxury development in Valley Village. She says she places these balloons on properties that are slated for demolition.
So many of these developers are really profiteering off of the housing crisis, and they're profiteering off of the homelessness crisis, because if you evict a large 60 people from this area, a percentage of those people will not be able to find affordable homes to live in. Separate house, and then my friends live there. You can see the demolition notice on the house. The Arias family used to garden here. They had chickens. The reason I have chickens is because the Arias family had chickens, and they used to garden up here as well.
We tried going to housing, and it would take over 2 years just to get housing. My parents saw a sign and we called, and luckily they were able to qualify, and that's how we're here. Well, it goes back 4 decades. My mother, she was around 30 when she moved into the neighborhood. My sister and I were both born there. So my sister's over 40. I didn't live anywhere else, so my whole life is there.
I just couldn't ever believe that we couldn't stop it if there was enough. Like we got about 200 signatures from a 500-foot radius of this property. Not like the whole neighborhood or Los Angeles, but within a 500-foot radius of the development, we got almost 200 signatures in a week before a hearing. And they couldn't have cared less.
The developers, urban blocks, they don't even own all the properties. They want to remove the public street. They want to remove 3 dozen healthy trees, every inch of open space to create 26 small lot subdivisions that are 8 inches apart. So like this is 8 inches apart, like from here to here. So this essentially would be your neighbor, like from here, from my hand to this hand, like 26 of them. So that's like, I mean, that's a little smaller than my dog, like, you know.
So the idea is like, we don't have that kind of money, and we don't have that kind of power that comes with that amount of money that these developers have, but we do have the ability to actually just go to City Hall and knock on doors and try to get as many people to call or email that we know from other, from this whole chain of all the different hearings that we've gone to.
Yeah. I met Ann at City Hall. I had heard a woman's voice reading her appeal, and I looked at my friend. I was like, does she have our papers? Realizing that's kind of when the light bulb went off about this is not just, like 2 planners at Van Nuys Planning Department. This is like, these guys are in Silver Lake and Los Feliz and Echo Park. Like, this is a bigger problem.
Yeah. So we have a group of people that are in various stages of learning how the city works.
Right.
So we have to ask them to do this and say, we're going to show up for you. You show up for us. Let's be lobbyists. Let's behave like a grassroots lobbying organization.
Definitely.
You have 5 minutes. It's one appeal, so however you would like to distribute that time.
So LA really doesn't need to destroy any more rent-stabilized housing in this city. Certainly not for developments that are luxury developments. This is clearly a luxury development that no one living there will be able to afford.
The South Valley Planning Commission has not voted to uphold an appeal since 2006. The last appeal that was upheld was granted to developer Steve Nazemi, who is also this developer here with Urban Blocks. Applicants have not gotten what they wanted and are now suing two elderly property owners, forcing them to sell their mother's property, which they inherited after she passed away at 100 years old. My landlady, her name is Jean Lathrop. She had bought this property for a down payment of $5 in 1934, and it's been a staple in the neighborhood and a central location for community for a long time. Way before I got here, I think it was the 70s, Jean started a kindergarten here, so it was kind of always a kid spot for the kids, the local kids to come. She was a great lady. She loved to tell stories of the neighborhood. She loved to tell stories of all the people that came here and that still come back to visit her. I think that was always really special to me. It was a place that people always were drawn to come back to. In 2013 is when Jean passed away, and I knew that we were going to be experiencing changes. But I mean, at that point, there was no one running the property other than me. We started doing organic gardening. I just thought it would be useful and beneficial to offer that to the community, which was just kind of consistent with what she had started. You could just smell in the air that, there were changes taking place in the neighborhood, and I mean, people have always wanted this place for the land.
The public is being ridden over in this decision. I urge people to remember, when you support a rule for the city council, remember, it doesn't really apply. It will be broken the minute it is convenient or profitable.
Once again, the environmental review for this project that makes no mention of the loss of 13 rent-stabilized units, ranging in price from $575 to $1,200 a month. It would be within the purview of this body to require then that the project replace those affordable units.
Well, Urban Blocks messed up our lives. I had to get everything new for my son. Him to get to new schools, get to his special schools, because I can't just put him in a regular school because he's developmentally delayed. I have to still go back to Hollywood to his doctors because the doctors around this area, even though it's Kaiser, they don't have the ones that he needs.
Look at this face. Look at that face. I mean, there's nothing like farm fresh organic eggs. So, but now, I give them to my lawyers as like part payment. Like they have eggs and honey for life, I think that I just felt there's no way that this can fail. Like it just can't. There's too much support, and it's the right thing. And I think what I'm learning is it doesn't matter how right it is.
Sorry, that's your time. I just have to try to be consistent with everybody in your time. So thank you very much. Thank you very much. And we'll now go to the applicant.
Good afternoon, Chair Weezer and members of the Commission. My name is Elisa Pastor. I'm an attorney with Glazer Weil, and I'm here representing the applicant UB Valley Village LLC. I'm going to make this very brief. Everything here is consistent with the general plan and the specific plan. We started out at 30 units, and working with the council member's office, we have reduced it down to 26 units. The council member, I should say one of his representatives, have spoken at all of the hearings in support of this project.
Okay, you're done. Okay. So with that, colleagues, I don't see any other council members on the queue, so we can go ahead and open the roll. Close the roll and tabulate the vote.
Twelve ayes.
It's approved. Thank you very much. Okay, Madam Clerk, where does that take us?
Item 5 or item 4?
Okay, let's go ahead and go with item.
I felt sad inside because, like I said, that was the only place until this day, even though I've been here a year, that I call home. I'm still an Echo Parker. That's still home. This isn't. I wish to go back. And just remembering how the house was. Luckily, I have pictures of it because to remember how it was.